Israel and Egypt have agreed to a huge natural gas deal. The agreement strengthens relations between the two nations and solidifies Israel's role as an economic power in the Middle East.
In Australia, the first victims of the Hanukkah terror attack are being laid to rest. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister is announcing new laws aimed at anti-Semitism. CBN's Julie Stahl reports.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu approved the largest gas deal in Israel's history, paving the way to better relations with Egypt and a trilateral meeting with the U.S.
This deal with the American company Chevron has Israeli partners, and they will supply gas to Egypt. I approve the deal after ensuing our security and vital interests.
The deal is worth about $34.7 billion, about half of which will go into the state treasury to help Israeli citizens. It also provides long-term economic security.
This deal greatly strengthens Israel's position as a regional energy power, and it contributes to stability in our region.
In Sydney, hundreds of mourners gathered for the first funeral of the victims of the Bondi Beach Hanukkah massacre. Rabbi Eli Schlanger, a husband and father of 5, organized Sunday's Hanukkah by the Sea event. Former Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison told CBN's Raj Nair the attack was a desecration of our nation.
The Jewish community here in Australia has felt incredibly abandoned and isolated because of the policies of the government and the failure to take action on what has been rising anti-Semitism in this country.
The Australian government now taking action in the wake of the attack. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announcing legislative reforms to crack down on those who spread hate, division, and radicalization, including preachers and leaders who promote violence.
The Australian government adopts and fully supports the plan to combat anti-Semitism. We have already legislated for hate speech, hate crimes, hate symbols, outlawing doxing. We've already undertaken education action, including appointing the first ever student ombudsman.
Israeli government spokeswoman Shosh Bedrosian told CBN News that Israel is at a pivotal point in convincing the world to fight anti-Semitic speech.
These streets have been a walking red flag for 2 years. You know, I remember seeing Hamas and Hezbollah flags just on the streets of New York City. What does that do to a Jew? You shake in your boots a little bit.
She commended President Trump for taking a stand and said other leaders should follow suit. Meanwhile, the Israeli Ministry of Tourism is preparing for the arrival of about 130,000 tourists in the month of December, including about 40,000 Christian pilgrims coming to celebrate Christmas at holy sites. The ministry invested in improving infrastructure and decorations in the city of Nazareth, the boyhood home of Jesus, a popular destination for foreign tourists. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Now, do notice that that celebration is in Nazareth. It's not in Bethlehem. And the reason is the Muslims have really taken over the city of Bethlehem. I remember going there back in the 1970s when Israel controlled Bethlehem. It was peaceful. We had candlelight services on the hills. Little Bedouins, shepherds would come with their sheep, little lambs. And so it was, you know, like we're recreating 2,000 years where the shepherds were watching over their flock by night. And they were very curious, what are these Americans doing with candles out in our field? So it was such a wonderful experience, but it's completely gone now, where Bethlehem is no longer safe. And what was an 80% Christian population is now down to less than 20%, because the Palestinian Authority literally has driven them out. But isn't it wonderful that Israel is still there? Israel is watching out for all the major religions. They protect all the sacred sites. They give equal access to all the sites. It's such a wonderful contrast. Under the Jordanian rule, if you were Jewish, you couldn't even go to the Jewish quarter in the Old City. You couldn't go to the Western Wall and pray. These are historical facts. What a painted picture, if you will, of the differences between when you're under Muslim rule and when you're under Israeli rule.